It's the starting five. I'm Yaron Weitzman. The Dallas Mavericks season has come to an end. It was a really impressive run. They got further than any of us expected they would, but there is still room for them to grow. Here are 5 things they need to do to avoid becoming a one-hit wonder and becoming a true title contender. Number 1, a Luka leap. Everything with the Mavericks starts and revolves around the brilliance of Luka Doncic, and it's because of his awesomeness that they were able to make it to the conference finals and upset the heavily favored Phoenix Suns. Luka is an absolute stud, probably the best offensive player in the NBA. Just look at his career playoff numbers. This is through 3 seasons and 27 games. They are absurd, and he's only 23 years old. All that being said, there's still room for Luka to grow, primarily on the defensive end. We saw this against the Warriors and against the Suns. Teams are repeatedly targeting him in the pick and roll, going after him, and making that their primary offensive scheme. Luka was even called out by Mavericks head coach Jason Kidd during the early parts of the Phoenix Suns series when the Mavericks were down.
He's got to participate. He's got to play defense. There's no secret. They're going to put him in every pick and roll. They did the same thing with Dirk. Until Dirk participated and stuck up for himself, you can always ask for help, but you got to participate. And Luka's has done that for us in this journey. And so he's going to have to do it tonight.
The good news for the Mavericks is that as that series went on, Luka did a good job of, to use Kidd's word, participating on the defensive end of the floor. But for the Mavericks to make that next leap, Luka has got to be better there. That starts with his conditioning and being able to maintain a certain pace on defense while carrying such a heavy load on offense. But there are also things the Mavericks can do to help engage Luka more on that end of the court. Number 2, build a defense. The Mavericks D improved a ton under Jason Kidd during the regular season, but they took a little step back in the playoffs. Part of that is just a deal. When you have Luka on your team, you're going to be giving up a lot of points as teams target him. But the Mavericks can also do more to help protect Luka and build a better D around him. One solution would be adding a premier rim protector. The Mavericks give up a ton of dribble penetration, which leads to all sorts of rotations and lets opponents find easy shots. And the good news for the Mavericks is that there are guys available on the market who they can add and that would fit this role. Players like Miles Turner, Mitchell Robinson, DeAndre Ayton, Yusuf Nurkic, Clint Capella, even Rudy Gobert all seem to be somewhat available. The Mavericks as a team are over the tax line and they don't have a ton of flexibility, but as you can see up on the screen, they do have some assets that they can play with. They don't even need a home run here. That's the beauty of having a player like Luka. Just pair him with a big man who can swat some shots and either pop for 3 or roll to the rim, and watch him and your team thrive. Number 3, pay Jalen Brunson. So let's get the caveats out of the way, because Brunson is not a perfect player. He's small, and that makes him a liability on defense. He is not a great 3-point shooter, which is not ideal when you're playing alongside a ball-dominant player like Luka Doncic. All that being said, what Brunson has proven is that he is a really, really good generator of offense and someone who is comfortable playing alongside Luka, which is not something I think we could say about many guys who are as good with the ball as Brunson is. Brunson absolutely torched opponents during this past postseason run, but now he's going to be an unrestricted free agent. There are going to be other teams interested in his services too. Look for teams like the Detroit Pistons and New York Knicks to go after Brunson heavily, which means the Mavericks are going to have to pay up in order to keep him. They don't have much cap room, so paying Brunson would move them over the tax line, but that's something that they and owner Mark Cuban should have no problem in doing. The last time the Mavericks got this deep in the playoffs, they let Tyson Chandler go the following offseason in the name of cap flexibility. But that's an outdated model. It didn't work in Chandler's case, and it wouldn't work here. When you have players who are young and good, you want to lock them up. Best case scenario, they grow with your team. Worst case, you flip them for someone else and grow that way. Number 4, upgrade their wings. The Mavs did a great job over the past year of tweaking their roster along the margins, whether it was signing guys like Reggie Bullock or flipping Kristaps Porzingis for Spencer Dinwiddie, which ended up being a really, really good trade as Dinwiddie played well with them. And locking in Dorian Finney-Smith to a long-term deal was a smart move. But to take the next step, they're going to have to get Luka Doncic some more help. Because when you're building around a player like Luka Doncic, you have to have as much shooting as possible, but also make sure that those shooters can hold their own on the defensive end. That sounds easier than it is. Every team in the league is looking for upgrades across the wing positions. What the Mavericks have, though, that other teams don't, is a player like Luka who can guarantee these wings open shots and eventually a major payday. Getting Tim Hardaway Jr. will help a lot, and while they can't add any stars, there are guys on the market like Pat Connaughton or TJ Warren who could make a difference here as well. More shooting, more versatility, more options. Those are the things the Mavericks need to find to prevent another conference finals defeat. Number 5, let Kidd cook. Honestly, the thing I think I've enjoyed most this postseason, even more than watching Luka dance from the top of the key, is seeing Jason Kidd take all sorts of shots at all sorts of people during his press conferences. He's gone after Rudy Gobert, after Luka, after opponents, after the NBA, after Steve Kerr. As my colleague Melissa Rowland recently wrote, this is all part of Kidd's transformation, and frankly, it's worked. I was one of the people who thought the Mavericks made a mistake when they hired Kidd in the offseason. I was dubious given his past result in both Brooklyn and with the Milwaukee Bucks. Not just on the court, but the way he seemed to rub so many in those organizations the wrong way. But you've got to give the Mavericks and Kidd a ton of credit here. Kidd ended up being a great hire for them. He transformed their defense. He's clearly bonded with Luka, and he's got the Mavericks in a better position than they've been in years. You can tell Kidd is optimistic about this team's future as well. If the Mavericks are able to follow some of these steps, Kidd could very well be proven right. That's your starting 5. I'm Yaron Weitzman with the NBA Finals right around the corner. Be sure to keep your eyes peeled here for more great NBA and NBA Finals coverage.